This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your online presence. Marvel has brought us a lot of joy over the years, all the way back to Robert Downey Jr. surprising everyone by turning out to be the perfect Tony Stark.
I am Iron Man.
Then all the way through to the film nerd's cultural moment that was Infinity War and Endgame. Marvel had somehow pulled off one of the greatest setups to a villain cinema had ever seen. And when we finally got to Thanos, he was a fully formed character with depth and meaning.
Did you do it?
Yes,
What did it cost?
everything.
But the Marvel journey hasn't always been good. There's been a lot of filler in there. But filler can be forgiven if we get some great highs. The trouble is, since Endgame, there haven't been many highs. And filler, well, that'd be a relief. Now, a lot of the Marvel content now is just bloody terrible. That being said, even at their worst, I'm looking at you, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Jane?
At their worst, you could at least feel that someone was actually trying to get an idea out. That idea might be dreadful, but it was still an idea. The story might be dog shit, and the characters are getting assassinated. But the actors were still doing their best to bring something to the role. The cinematographer was doing their job, and the lighting, sound and effects people all turned up to try and do their best. They might not have been good films or even average, but they at least ticked enough boxes to be called actual movies, especially for that short attention span generation who don't need the trouble of good stories and consistent characters in their movies.
Sorry, we've been fighting lately.
Using Thor Love and Thunder as an example, that was a cinema car crash. But Taika Waititi didn't forget how to write or direct actors or shoot a scene. He is very experienced with all those skills. No, his biggest sin was that he let his ego run wild and put too much of his own personality into Thor Love and Thunder. That's the bit we didn't like. Well, that's not a problem in the Marvels. The Marvels has no personality at all. It doesn't even feel like a proper movie. At its best, it feels like the film was made with just the outline notes before writing began. And those outline notes were made at an 8-year-old girl's sleepover party while they played with dolls.
Let's have all the girls and no yucky men. And girls are so strong they can never get hurt. Let's have Captain Marvel marry a prince. And everyone can only sing, have a dance like in Beauty and the Beast. And kittens. I want lots of kittens.
Now, there's nothing wrong with writing a story that appeals to everyone, including children. But appealing to children doesn't mean you should write like a child.
No, that's exactly what you just said. How is that even possible?
Even the Captain Marvel movie, which I did not like, at least felt like an actual movie. And we wouldn't have the glorious The Don without it.
The Dawn.
Don, the highly skilled pediatric surgeon who performed free operations at the local orphanage to save the sight of the young kiddies. His career sadly cut short when his hand was crushed by the monstrous Carol. If only Don hadn't kept his wife's dying wish to take a chance and try and find love again one day. If only Don had kept on riding past those shops on the bike his wife lovingly bought him to cheer him up and remember her by.
Take it.
Sadly, without his work to keep him going, Don drank himself to death within 3 years. Rest in peace, Don. So the Marvels. Well, the first problem we have is that Captain Marvel is an all-powerful, indestructible god. So I hoped that this film might have introduced some type of weakness for her, some type of kryptonite or chamber of power removal for her, maybe a compelling moral issue or a smart villain. But all we get is that our big baddies, Bangles, power up with Captain Marvel's blasts. Yes, for some reason, instead of giving her a weakness to create some type of stakes in the film, they decide to make her even more powerful. At one stage, she literally flies into a sun, like a sperm entering an egg, and gives it life. A fucking sun. With that sort of power, how is seeing her in any type of fight exciting? Her body can take the 27 million degrees Fahrenheit of the core of a sun, so she's literally indestructible. Which means, in bloody fights, you never have any fear for her safety. Then on a side note, how come everyone can just breathe in space now?
How goes it out there?
You know, cold, no air, space.
I know that this could come across as a strange complaint for a superhero film, but these minor details, well, it's not really minor being able to breathe in space. These things can again lift the feeling of excitement in a scene.
We're too high up. You're running out of air.
That makes sense.
But no, stupidly, and I'll try not to use the word stupid too much in this review, but it ain't going to be easy. Stupidly, we get a scene where they've added in Carol's heavy breathing in the vacuum of space. What's going in and out of her lungs there? Gods like Thor I get, but Carol, why doesn't she or Rambo need oxygen? Great bit of filmmaking there, just adding a sound effect that doesn't fit the scene, but you know, who cares?
I can't leave, Carol! What do you mean? I can't leave! I have to finish the job.
Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. And that'll be it.
So the main idea for this film is that the three Marvel women, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Captain Rambo, start switching places whenever they use their power at the same time.
Not again!
Well, you think it would be the main part of the story, seeing it's in all the trailers, but once we get a comedy, and I'm using the word comedy looser than a Vegas prostitute's box, but once we get a comedy montage of our three heroes getting acquainted with their powers, it no longer really causes any problems. Such an idea could lead to some scary, morally challenging or funny situations. The villain could have used the switching problem to their advantage.
Call to John.
But no, just the montage. That'll do, Mongos.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Now, I think cringe is an overused word these days, but boy, this film's greatest power is how much cringe it fires at the audience. There are parts in this montage where you can literally see Brie reminding herself that she's an Oscar-winning actress. Ooh, that's rough. But I'm pretty sure she just kept telling herself that even though the film was embarrassing, and obviously the director had no idea what they were doing, having another billion-dollar film on her resume wasn't going to do her any harm. Lowest MCU opening weekend of all time. Ooh.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave!
Quick break to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, it's that time of year again when you start promising yourself that the new year is going to be amazing because you are finally going to get all those great ideas out to the world. The first thing you're going to need is a website, which can be expensive. Well, not if you use Squarespace. Don't throw away your money on hiring a website designer. That will have you waiting for months to get back something that's probably going to look completely boring. Join Squarespace and not only will you save money and have an amazing professionally designed website, you can have that website designed and out to the world today. And that's literally today. It really is that easy. Just sign up for a free trial, choose one of their awesome looking templates and make it your own with the ease of drag and drop designing using their incredible tool Fluid Engine. Add photo galleries, portfolios and eye-catching video backgrounds and you are ready to go. Set up a store to sell directly to your customers, or if digital content is your thing, Squarespace websites now have a members area where you can monetize your own content right on your own website. You can even now set up online courses with multimedia lessons, progress tracking and flexible pricing. You'll be making passive income by sharing the knowledge you already have. Squarespace also provides secure payments and client invoicing. What I love is they can even take care of your custom merch. No one else can give you all of that. Go to squarespace.com/robothead and try Squarespace for free. And then when you are ready to take off, use the code ROBOTHEAD and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. See the link below. Go to Squarespace today and turn those dreams of yours into cash. For something so straightforward as the body switching, you would think it would be quite easy for the creators of this film to keep track of how the switching works. I mean, there are only 3 of them and nothing else is going on in the script, so it should be pretty straightforward. But they fuck it up the second time we see it. After a quick couple of switches that push the boundaries of plausibility, we get 2 of our 3 leads in the same room to explain what is happening to us and to the characters.
Susceptibility to electromagnetic energy has temporarily entangled our world lines.
Yeah, never did.
Carol finds out that she is swapping with a third person, a person who was obviously a child living at home, seeing as she landed in a child's room, and there are concerned parents standing there.
Where's our daughter?
Carol instantly understands the thin threads of the story,
What are you doing?
I'm trying to switch.
and because her character's bloody horrible, proceeds to fly as high as she can as fast as she can, like a psychopathic monster. Yes, this is apparently our hero. While leaving Earth's atmosphere, Carol swaps with Ms. Marvel. Miss Marvel begins falling to a certain death, but up steps Samuel Jackson, who is no longer playing Nick Fury, but is just cashing in a big fat paycheck playing himself. He has 4 things to do in this film: shout, be somewhat stupid, pick up an AI cat, and sit in a chair. He even sits in the chair for his fight scene. Which, Samuel, that's a good clause in your contract. Character consistency means absolutely zero in the Marvel universe these days, so the Nick Fury we get is the stupid shouty one from the Captain Marvel movie. The movie set decades earlier when Nick Fury is way younger, doesn't know anything about the superheroes and the real threat to mankind. He's not the same character we've got to know across multiple bloody films, who is tough, cool and smart. No, this is the goofball version who shouts things like,
Hey, Black Girl Magic!
Nick Fury chooses this moment to instruct Captain Rambo to learn how to fly. Yes, it would have been more plausible if we'd seen him encouraging her to fly earlier in the film, maybe when she was out in space, but this is modern writing where women can just instantly do anything. Which is not only pathetic pandering, it also takes away from any type of character development. It takes away from the audience learning who these people are, good, bad, and their faults. One of the best things about the first Iron Man film is watching Tony learn how to use his equipment. Peter Parker learning how to be Spider-Man, as well as learning why he should choose the hero life, is not only fun to watch, it's one of the most important parts of the story.
That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
But in the Marvels, we see Captain Rambo learn how to fly quicker than Ray learned about the Force, which turns out to be a complete waste of time because Rambo doesn't save Miss Marvel. No, she flies up there, is useless, and then has to hang on to Miss Marvel while Miss Marvel saves herself. And this is where any rules relating to the body switching story are thrown out the bloody window. For 2 out of our 3 Marvels to swap, they have to be using their powers at the exact same time. Also, the swapping is very accurate. It will transport your clothing, but nothing around it. As we saw earlier when Rambo and Miss Marvel swap, it doesn't even take the spacesuit Rambo is wearing, which is highly convenient for Miss Marvel, who would have been instantly killed without it. But those rules are about to change because as Miss Marvel and Rambo are about to splat into the ground, which would have improved the movie, exactly in the spot they launched from, which seems highly unlikely, they both swap with Carol, even though Rambo wasn't using her powers at the time. And even if she was, 2 of them should still be in this scene, like the movie has already established. I would have preferred if the movie took this opportunity to turn into The Fly, where Rambo and Miss Marvel were accidentally combined into one deformed being. That would have injected some much-needed entertainment into the movie.
What are we waiting for? Let's do it.
It's also good to note that every one of these near-death experiences facing Miss Marvel is greeted with little to no care from the other characters. Characters that include her family.
Oh, it's cool. It's Carol.
Where's our doctor? Yes, please. Where is Kamala?
How is the audience meant to care about these characters when no one in the story bloody does? We find out that Captain Marvel, our fun-loving girl, is called the Annihilator by our so-called antagonist, and for good reason. In yet another case of weirdo Hollywood, we get a story where the supposed hero, Captain Marvel, is really the most evil character in the story. Sounds like Sabine in Ahsoka. The character that we are meant to see is oh so cute, and who was about to gush it up in a dance number, I shit you not, decided to take it upon herself to go and destroy the Supreme Intelligence, which led to a 30-year Kree civil war that resulted in their planet having little air, no water, or a functioning sun. How all this happened, especially the sun issue, is never explained. Not sure how a sun gets damaged in a civil war, but anyway, you have to remember that the writing here resembles that of a child, where nothing gets expanded upon beyond the initial idea. The Marvel's audience also has to ignore that the Kree planet would be a dead ice block with no living life forms on it without an active sun. Suns are bloody important, you idiots. But who cares about that detail when you have so many other good things happening in the movie? There are no other good things happening in the movie.
Oh my god, we're a team.
Make sure to join me in part 2 where we have much more to discuss, including 2 very important points.